Hello, hello, Lee. Everyone's good. There's no crazy background noise. So if you're not muted, no big deal. All right. And if you hear any crazy drilling, I'll try to speak up louder. They're building the next section of my neighborhood out. And I guess literally 10 minutes ago, they were moving this big little limestone drill right behind my house because I think they're putting the neighborhood big little utility box right there. So I was like, oh, lovely. You picked now to do this. But all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a good month, a good day. If you have any questions, feel free just to pop on and ask or drop them in the chat. I've got that open over here to the side, but let's jump in it. So last month we covered the basics of doing a post on Instagram and just kind of walk through some of the basics of what to do, went through some of the layout of Instagram, what certain buttons meant. We talked about captions. So today we're going to do stories. So there's a little review from last week. If you remember, this is your navigation bar. Your house is your feed. If it was chronological, it would say, exactly what time they posted. Now they're not chronological. So you'll get 2 days, 3 days, an hour ago, but that is your feed. Your magnifying glass is how you search for content or people or browse those hashtags. Your plus in the center is your create icon. That's where you create your posts, your stories, your reels, or start an Instagram live. The little movie action is your reels. That's Instagram's version of TikTok. And then your profile photo, whatever that is in the bottom right corner, and that's your profile. So what is a story? An Instagram story is a vertical full screen photo or video that disappears after 24 hours. So you have your posts that we talked about last week, which live in your feed, and we have your stories. Your stories appear at the top of the Instagram interface rather than in the news feed. So this is the top of your Instagram interface. This is where you see everybody else's profile photos. This is your stories feed. So this is your, what we call the news feed. This is all posts. You're not going to see any stories in here. Up here, this is your stories. This is your posts that only last for 24 hours and then they're going to disappear. Stories can include interactive tools like stickers, polls, and filters to make your content really pop. We're going to play around with some of those today, and I'm going to show you some options and then give you some ideas of what you can do with some stories. But that's the main difference between your Instagram stories and your posts. So your story screen breakdown. There's 2 ways you can start a story. You can tap your profile photo where that little plus is, or you can tap the create symbol in the middle of your navigation bar. When you tap your profile photo, it's going to automatically open up to your album to where you can select photos from your album to start your story. That's like the default that it sets it to. If you want to do film or a video, you're going to press your create button, and then you're going to make sure the story is highlighted. This will open up to your camera. It won't be a black screen. It's a black screen since this is a mock-up. But this is your story screen. This is where you can turn on your flash. We'll talk about this button over here. The infinity symbol is a boomerang. We'll touch on that later in another class, but that's basically just a little video that's going to repeat itself. So you can come in here and play around with these different buttons and then delete them. You're not posting anything. So that's how a lot of people learn how to do it. And then all these little icons down here are like different filters that you can put over it. So your story bar breakdown. So once you have a photo in here, this little bar pops up at the top of your story. So the speaker is how you mute if you have a lot of background noise. So if I was in a home filming and the dishwasher was running, or there was, construction in the background, I could mute it and make it completely silent. the little person, the tag symbol, that is for branded content. So that's really for like bloggers and people that are getting paid to do a partnership with someone. A lot of bloggers will be paid by brands like Abercrombie, and the Abercrombie will send them clothes, and then they will do a branded content and that links their posts together. For us, we get to ignore this symbol. It's kind of irrelevant. We're not that cool, some would say. Your next symbol up at the top of your story is the AA. It doesn't stand for Alec Abbott. That is how you add text to your story. I'm going to show you that soon. Your little Post-it note with a smiley, that's your stickers icon. That's how you add different little widgets and tools to your story, and you can make them interactive. The sparkly symbols are going to be your filters, and that's how you can add different filters over pictures. You can even put them after. And then your 3 dots is how you can bring up a pen function and you can draw on the photos, or it will also bring up a save to where you could save it. It'll save it as an actual photo and then you could reuse it. And so if you filtered it cool and you like it, or if you just have text on it, that would be a reason to save it. So this little arrow down in the bottom, that's basically how you share this story and post it. When you click that arrow, this next screen will pop up and then you click share and then your story has been posted. I will show you that later on too. I've got a little clip for you. So let's create a story. First, we're going to tap the create button. You're going to make sure that your story is highlighted down at the bottom. And again, this would be open to your camera. So we're going to pretend we're in our client's kitchen for a listing, and we want to show off this beautiful kitchen remodel. So we just recorded this. We took into account some tips from my other classes. You know, the lighting's good. There's no harsh shadows. Let's get it to play again. You know, it looks nice, okay? So this is going to be our story, but let's jazz it up a little bit. So from here, we're going to add text. So you'll see, let me take it back. You'll see the little AA up there is going to highlight. I'm tapping that, and then this is the screen that will pop up. Imagine this is like a Word document. So you can begin typing. You see your cursor blinking there. So I can start describing, you know, what I want to add to my story. Now, down here, I've got different styles of fonts. You'll see that soon. I'll tap around and I'll show you how to change the size. But right now, we're just typing out what we want it to say. So we're going to talk about the gorgeous new the new cabinets and countertops. You can see I'm changing the side by dragging the slider up and down. Now I'm going to change the font, kind of play around, see which one I like. When I do these kind of things, I like it to be minimal. I like the post to kind of speak for something. I think nothing's classier than classic black and white. So I'm going to try it without a background. So you can tap this symbol up here in between, and I'll show you again. So I'm dragging it down. I don't really like how the text is over the countertop. So I'm going to add a background to it. So you can see here, I'm going to tap that little sparkle up at the top. First, I change the font, which is down here. Then I tap this icon, the A sparkle. It's hard to come up with names for these. They don't have a name for it. When you see that came on, then I got this background that came on with it. You can't change like the size of the background. It automatically changes with the text as you move the slider up and down. So then I'll show you how you can change different colors. So when you tap these, it's going to change mostly the text. And then Instagram decides the background color. You can tap the A sparkle a couple times and it'll do a light or a dark, but Instagram kind of decides what the best color scheme is. So then you can drag and drop, you can pinch, you know, your standard iPhone movements to make it bigger or smaller and drop it down. So let's add a link. So we want our, you know, anyone that's viewing this, if they love this kitchen, we want them to be able to see this listing and not have to go far. So we're going to put a link on this screen where they can tap and it will take them straight to the MLS listing for this. So here we're going to tap the sticky note with the smiley up at the top. And that's going to open up our sticker menu. And here you've got lots of different fun things to play with. Again, you could take a simple video of your carpet and then come in here and play around with the different stickers and see what they do, see what the avatar is. The smiley slider, you can slide how much you love it. Excuse me. There's a quiz function. You can add music. Sometimes if your business account won't let you play music, like I have the option, but it won't let me put the music on there. You can add little animated pictures, which are called GIFs on the screen. You can do something interactive with your followers. You can ask them questions. There's so much you can do here, but for now, we're going to add a link. So we're going to tap this link icon down in the corner. And it's going to bring us to this second screen. We're pretty standard. We're going to paste. This is where you paste your RealTracks link. That's the best place to send someone, especially, if someone's looking at your listing and they already have an agent, boom, they can just forward that straight to their agent and say, I want to see this house. If they're unrepresented, they've got all your contact information right there on that link to reach out to you. And boom. So we're going to paste that. You always want to customize it. You don't ever want to just use a sticker and make it say http://www.realtracks.com. So I don't have an actual one, but I'm just going to show you, you paste the whole thing / there. Then you'd customize. I always like to put an action with this. Tap here to do this. Tap here to view listing. That makes someone literally, okay, it kind of tricks their mind. So boom, you can see we've got our little sticker with our listing now on there. And that's interactive. When you tap it, it will open up a web browser and they can see that listing. You can tap while you're still building your story. This sounds a little confusing, but you can actually tap it. And every time you tap it, it's going to change the color and style. So it will sometimes pick up a color from the story. I thought this was going to look good, but it just doesn't stand out. It blends in too much. So I'm going to tap it again until I get to the black and white one. And then this is the one that I think looks the best. It kind of pops up and shows you. These are our counter, here's this gorgeous kitchen. If you want to see the rest of this house, let's see if we can pause it in time. If you want to see the rest of this house, just tap right here. That's even what you could put in that caption. To see the rest of the home, tap here. Boom, takes them to the RealTrack listing. They can click right through everything. So let's get fun with it. Now we're going to add a GIF. So we're going to click the same little sticker icon and it's going to bring up the same menu. Instead of tapping links, we're going to tap the GIF. And that's going to open up the animated pictures that you guys have probably seen on people's stories or seen people do the excited dance or the little girls dancing. So if you type in Jen Blue, and if you type it in correctly, not wrong like I did, this is where Coldwell Banker houses all of their GIFs. So as you can see, they've got just a CB, they've got a mailbox with it, they've got for sale, welcome home, real estate done right, they've got little keys, they've got little signs that say for sale, sold, home of the week. They've got some fun little GIFs. So you can select one and you can see I've got it on here now. And then what I love about Instagram is when you move things around, it'll give you a grid. So you could perfectly get something in center. It will show you up here. It's showing you this line because up here is where your name would be. And you don't really want to put something up in this top box. So I'm just you can drag around. I can make it bigger if I wanted. Sometimes when you enlarge a GIF, you lose the quality of it and it becomes very distorted. This is essentially like 1990 clip art, like very early word clip art that you can put onto an Instagram story. So once you're done, you can drop it and boom, it's on your story. And if you change your mind while you're still on this screen, you can move it around again. So here's some additional stickers we can do and play with. And just to give you guys an idea of what you could do. So here's ask a question. So you could say, do you like white cabinets or dark cabinets? Do you rent or do you own? And then you can tap these yes and no and change the answer. You can add other options and it's going to take a live poll of your Instagram followers and it's going to tell, it's going to give you the statistics and it's also going to show them what's winning. You could do fun things. So jump ahead a little bit. If you're posting the move meter matchup campaigns every week where we're comparing Nashville to the cities the Titans are playing against. You could then put this on the screen and say, who do you think is going to win the game? The Titans or, oh, who plays this week? The Browns. I can't believe I know that. I don't like sports. But you could do that. Then you could see, you know, who do you have more fans of? Do you have more local fans or do you have more fans from out of town that are following you? So that's the poll sticker. Then you can see I moved it around and then you can see I just dropped it. So that would be an example of how you could play around with this. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. Play around with this and learn your way around the different stickers and see what they do. This one is ask a question. So you can say, you know, have a question about buying a home. Are you a first-time home buyer? Again, you could say, why do you rent over buying? And someone could give you your answer. You could say, do you like going to open houses? That's the question sticker. And it wouldn't be CB up here. This would be your profile picture. That's because I'm doing this on that Instagram. So from here, we're going to post our story. So back to where we were. We are going to tap this arrow down here. We're done. We like where everything is living. We're cool with this. It's going to live on our feed for 24 hours. It's kind of advertising our listing for us. Each day we could do a different part of the house. Every other day you could do a different part of the house. You could do 8 stories back to back of different rooms in the house and do something like this with the link each time. I mean, you could do virtual walkthroughs, you could talk. The opportunities are endless, but we're going to click that arrow and it's going to bring you up to this feed. And then this is where you can share it. You want to make sure it's selected on your story. If it's selected to close friends, it's only going to be people you've selected to see that. So you want to make sure it's your story, let everybody see it. And then when you push share, it'll pop up one more time. You push it and then you saw it kind of, I'll show you that little animation one more time. It'll populate on your profile. Then you can even tap your profile. So we're going to tap it. And now we're watching the story we just created. So you can see our GIF, you can see our text and our link where you could tap it. So now we've created a story on Instagram. So here's just some different story content ideas I wanted to give you all. You can do stories on new listings, open houses, video tours of the home. Make it personal. If you're out showing properties all day to clients, you know, and you're in the car and you're on to the next one, you could take a selfie real quick and say, on to the next showing, ! And post it on your story. It's not going to go on your feed. People get to see you're busy. Your Instagram story will get so many more views than your feed post. People like to watch it. It's just more stimulating. So you could take them along. If you're in a neighborhood, if you're walking your dog, if you're out hiking in Percy Warner, you could record, you know, the stairs, show off Percy Warner. If you go downtown, you could show off Broadway if you're walking around, put that on. You know, some people are going to look to you to be kind of their tour guide when they move here. And that's nice when you have Instagram, because if they're following you, then that eliminates them having to text you. And it becomes instead of a, hey, where do I go to do this? It becomes a, hey, I saw you went to that 5th and Broad shopping center downtown. And we went one day before the Titans game and it was so much fun. You're kind of engaging and touching your spear without really having to do much. Something else, you can do the move meter campaign every week. And then if you've got the move meter widget on your website, you could then replace the video or just post the graphics and put, you know, here's the link, tap to try it on my website and push people to your website. You hear me talk about Canva all the time. You can go in Canva and search real estate Instagram stories. And this is the type of stuff that pops up. Now, if you don't have the paid Canva, you can't access all of these, but there are free ones. But you can literally take any of these and you just drag and drop your photos in and personalize them to be yours. So you don't even have to think about like crazy design or anything. That's how people do this. So Canva is a great resource. And like I keep teasing, next year or at the end of this year, depending where we land, we'll start doing some personalized Canva classes as well, since that's part of marketing and you can do so much. But now that we kind of have established a difference between posts and stories, start to pay attention when myself, or she's on here, Eva, we send out emails with social media graphics. A lot of the time we have ones that are labeled post and ones that are labeled story. Remember, your post is going to be a perfect square like a Post-it note. And if you put it on your story, it's not going to take up the whole screen. If you use these items labeled story, it's going to fill your whole screen. Now, if you use this in reverse, if you use this in your Instagram post, you're not going to be able to fit this in the whole post. That's why I have special content that is labeled post, post versus story. I've created it 2 times in the formats for you all to utilize. So that's an example. And don't forget, these are all in Level Up as well with your marketing or your market stats. But those are just posts. I don't have the time to create all of those into a story as well, but those don't look terrible just in your story, because then you can put text above and below and fill in the space and say, here's the, market stats this month. So as always, that's it. That's my little stories. Each time we're going to kind of add on as we work through. So next time I'm thinking we'll do content, we'll tap into that range. You might get a completely different subject when I send out my email reminder. Does anyone have any questions real quick? I know I'm looking through this line. I'm like, okay, almost everyone follows us on social media. You can scan these QR codes. If you don't, we do have a new Facebook page, so we're trying to rebuild that back up. And then, of course, if you're not an agent state of mind, which I'm pretty sure all of you are, there's a code for that. And then if you're not in the new listing group, scan that QR code. This is going to take you to a new group that Michelle and I created, where it is just a place for you to advertise listings, open houses, coming soon, off-market properties, just to our Coldwell Banker Barnes network of agents, because you never know who in-house might have a buyer or a seller for one of your listings. So if you're not in there, jump in there. And then thank you all as always for jumping on. And I know a good handful of you here do stories, and you do them well. Hopefully this was just a little, give you a couple ideas of what to do and how to switch it up or play around. Anyone have questions for me? Y'all are making me nervous. Nothing?
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you.
Lindsay,
Helpful info.
yay, good. All right. Well, if that's it, thank you guys so much. I'm like, how do I end my screen recording? All this stuff's so fun. No. There it is. All right. Well, that's the class. This will be in Level Up. Last month's isn't in yet. I've got to ask Michelle. I can't remember how to get it up there. I keep struggling. I'm putting it in the wrong place because it's not coming up on my app. So I just got to send it to Michelle to get back. So these both will be on there if you need a refresher, and then you'll have a whole little social media library when you need a refresh of what to do for something. But all right. Y'all have a good rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.